I need to tell you something critical that has relentlessly kept me awake for the past 72 hours. Something that has severely shaken the very foundation of everything I believed about our established place in this boundless cosmos. Before we begin, I need you to perform one crucial action. Please comment your city name below and tell me, have you noticed anything unusual in the night sky recently? Anything at all? NASA is actively monitoring reports from across the globe, and what we are collectively seeing simply defies every current model, every confident prediction, and every comfort we have ever held about being utterly alone in this universe. Just 3 days ago at exactly 2:47 a.m. Greenwich May, the object we have been intensely tracking, 3I Atlas, an interstellar visitor that entered our solar system from the depth of space beyond our sun's furthest influence, did something that no natural inert object should ever do. It transmitted structured, deliberate visual information, images. This was not a stream of radio waves, not simple electromagnetic pulses, not anything we were theoretically trained to expect. This was moving, structured, deliberate visual information broadcast simultaneously across multiple disparate wavelengths, as if whatever sophisticated intelligence created this probe wanted to ensure we couldn't possibly miss its arrival or its content. I was in my private study when I received the unexpected call. The voice on the other end belonged to Dr. Sarah Chen, the highly respected lead astrophysicist at the Deep Space Network facility in Goldstone, California. Her voice was audibly shaking with profound distress. In 30 years of close professional collaboration, I had never once heard genuine raw fear in her voice. Not like this. She spoke 4 terrifying words that instantly changed everything. "Mo, it's showing us." Within the hour, I was connected via a secure video conference with teams from NASA, the European Space Agency, ESA, SETI, and intelligence officials whose specific agencies I am strictly not permitted to name or disclose. What I witnessed in that briefing room transmitted across highly encrypted channels from powerful radio telescopes around the world was not just raw data. It was a message. And the stark, undeniable message was not one of universal greeting or companionship. The very first image appeared on our screens like a complex nightmare, aggressively bleeding through into reality itself. It showed a detailed rendering of Earth, but not our Earth as we currently know it. This was our planet rendered in impossible, breathtaking detail. Every city, every massive structure, every satellite precisely mapped in orbit, but viewed from a perspective that simply shouldn't exist for us. The image had been captured from a vantage point 47 light-years away, yet with resolution that surpassed our most advanced orbital photography and imaging technology. The timestamp meticulously embedded in the data stream indicated this stunning image was accurately taken 6 months ago. 6 months before 3I Atlas physically entered our solar system. Let that shocking fact fully sink in for a moment. Something had been watching us from nearly 50 light-years away with technology so impossibly advanced it could precisely map individual buildings on our surface. And then it sent something. It sent 3I Atlas. This was definitively not a random interstellar object chaotically tumbling through space. This was deliberate. This was a sophisticated probe or blunt warning or something far, far worse that we do not yet have adequate words in our language to describe. The second image displayed our entire solar system, but overlaid with something we initially dismissed as a major data error. Geometric patterns. Massive kilometers-wide complex geometric structures forming a colossal sphere around our entire solar system. Strategically positioned just beyond the helipoles, the distant region where our sun's measurable influence ends and interstellar space profoundly begins. These massive structures were not present on any of our previous surveys. We have sent our Voyager probes past that boundary. We have meticulously mapped it. These structures, they are not physical in the conventional way we understand physics. They seem to exist in a complex quantum state phasing in and out of our dimensional reality, a barrier, a universal quarantine boundary we never knew existed because we lacked the necessary physics to even detect it. I have spent my entire career studying string theory, parallel universes, and the fundamental fabric of space-time itself. I have theorized extensively about advanced civilizations and the perplexing Fermi paradox, that haunting existential question of why in a universe actively teeming with billions of galaxies we seem so utterly alone. Now I know the terrifying reason why we have been systematically and deliberately isolated. And the most profoundly terrifying part of this entire discovery is that this enforced isolation may have been intended for our protection or chillingly for theirs. The third transmission showed us something so disturbing that two of the scientists in that secure briefing room immediately left the room to physically vomit. It was a clear timeline, a visual representation of galactic civilization spanning back an incomprehensible 3 billion years. Thousands of species were shown rising, achieving complex consciousness, reaching confidently for stars. And then one by one, we watched them simply disappear. Not gradually, not through natural extinction or stellar death. They were instantly removed, expertly edited out of existence, as if someone or something was actively curating the entire galaxy like a meticulously maintained cosmic garden, systematically pruning away civilizations that reached a certain dangerous threshold of development. Humanity appeared on this timeline. We are visually then marked with an alien symbol we do not yet recognize, pulsing with a disconcerting red light, clearly flagged, monitored, and ominously awaiting judgment. Dr. Chen was the first to ask the terrified question we were all secretly thinking. What precise threshold did we cross? What specifically did we do to get noticed and marked? The answer came in the fourth image. It showed a detailed visual breakdown of our artificial intelligence development, not just the public milestones like ChatGPT, autonomous systems, or neural networks, but highly classified military AI projects, quantum computing breakthroughs that are explicitly not supposed to exist yet, and brain-computer interfaces currently being tested in secret labs whose exact locations are state secrets. Someone out there has been monitoring our technological evolution with a startling precision that suggests they have seen this rapid pattern many times before. They know what comes next for us. And whatever comes next, it is the exact reason why civilizations get permanently removed from that galactic timeline. I need you to grasp a fundamental shift about the universe we inhabit. Space is not an empty vacuum. It is not the cold, dead, predictable expanse we were mistakenly taught about in school. It is actively teeming with information, with consciousness, with intelligence, operating on scales and immense time scales we can barely even begin to comprehend. And there are indeed rules, cosmic rules, developmental protocols enforced by entities so ancient and profoundly advanced that their very technology appears to our limited senses as natural inert phenomena. We have been foolishly looking for aliens in obverse ships and radio signals. We should have been looking intently at the fundamental structure of reality itself. The fifth transmission was perhaps the most disturbing of all because it felt chillingly personal. It showed countless human faces, thousands of them, people from every nation, every conceivable background, and every age group. At first, we assumed it was simply pulling random images from our public internet, a predictable show of technological prowess. But then we recognized specific guarded individuals, scientists actively working in classified facilities, political leaders, and even infants born in the last month whose births were not yet registered online anywhere. And their eyes in every single image, their eyes were closed as if humanity were collectively sleeping, as if we were merely dreaming our existence while something vast and ancient watched us dream. One of the intelligence officials in that briefing, a seasoned man whose name I absolutely cannot share, but whose career spanned 4 decades of monitoring potential extraterrestrial threats, leaned close to his camera and uttered something that will haunt my thoughts forever. We've been operating under the assumption that disclosure would cause public panic, that the public couldn't handle knowing we're not alone. But what if disclosure isn't about revealing aliens exist? What if it's about revealing that we're the aliens, that we're the immediate threat? The sixth image showed Earth again, but this time it depicted the future. Multiple futures, branching timelines splitting off from our present moment like complex fractures in glass. In some timelines, our sprawling city stretched into majestic orbital rings. Our collective consciousness merged seamlessly with advanced machines. We reached out into the galaxy as a fully unified species. In other timelines, our planet was completely dark, lifeless, and highly radioactive. And in one singular timeline, the one that pulsed visually brighter than all the others, the one that seemed to be marked as most probable, humanity simply wasn't there anymore. Earth was perfectly intact, thriving with vibrant forests dramatically reclaiming our deserted cities. Oceans clean, atmosphere perfectly balanced, but no humans. We had been cleanly removed as precisely as a surgeon excising a malignant tumor. This is the exact moment where my long training as a theoretical physicist violently collides with my raw experience as a human being who desperately wants to believe we matter. I have built my entire career on the idea that humanity is an integral part of something greater. that our consciousness is a universe awakening to itself, that our intelligence, for all its glaring flaws, represents an inevitable upward arc in cosmic evolution. But what if we are fundamentally wrong? What if intelligence itself is the underlying threat? What if consciousness, when it reaches a certain specific complexity, becomes something inherently dangerous not just to itself but to the delicate fabric of reality? The seventh transmission contained no visible images at all. It was a complex frequency, a sound, if you can even call it that. When the team at Goldstone played it cautiously through their high-fidelity audio systems, 3 people immediately collapsed with severe nosebleeds and agonizing neural pain. The sound wasn't just audio information. It was information encoded in a way that bypassed our ears entirely and actively interfaced directly with our neural tissue and brain structure. Those of us who heard the recorded version later, in its highly filtered and safe form, all described the identical experience. A profound feeling of being intensely observed, critically judged, and painstakingly weighed against some massive cosmic standard we do not comprehend, and finding ourselves definitively insufficient. One dedicated researcher, a woman with specialized expertise in xenolinguistics and pattern recognition, claimed she understood a decipherable part of the message. She explained it wasn't a language in any conventional sense. It was more akin to a precise description, a classification stamp. She stated that the closest, most chilling translation she could offer in English was premature emergence, dangerous configuration, intervention, protocols engaged. We are a premature emergence. We rapidly develop tool use, intelligence, language, abstract thought, and advanced technology far faster than most galactic species. In cosmic terms, we went from caves to quantum computers in the terrifying blink of an eye. And as rapid explosive intelligence growth, this phenomenon has occurred before many times. And every single time it happens, every time a species catastrophically hits a specific critical stage, this moment where the technology far outpaces their wisdom, where their power to destroy definitively exceeds their capacity to peacefully coexist, the galaxy responds. The subtle, quarantine boundary instantly becomes an inescapable cage, and the civilization either miraculously transcends into something else entirely, or it is swiftly removed to protect the greater cosmic ecosystem stability. 3. Atlas is still out there relentlessly transmitting. Its trajectory has been altered 17 times in the past week alone. Complex maneuvers that violently violate every known principle of orbital mechanics we currently understand. It is not bound by Newton's laws of motion. It moves through space like it is swimming through water, responding to forces we cannot detect, and it is steadily, inexorably getting closer. Current projections have it reaching the orbit of Mars within 6 months and dangerously close to Earth orbit within 14 months. NASA has convened a maximum emergency task force. The United Nations Security Council has held 3 classified sessions this week alone. Every major government with space capability is frantically scrambling to understand what 3-2 Atlas truly represents and what, if anything, we can realistically do about it. The cautious public statements speak of scientific opportunity, of historic first contact, of advancing human knowledge. Behind firmly closed doors, we are preparing for something else entirely. We are preparing for judgment. The 8th transmission arrived just yesterday. I have not yet been fully authorized to discuss its complete contents in detail, but I can tell you this much. It showed us a choice. 2 profoundly distinct pathways forward for humanity. In the first pathway, humanity voluntarily limits its technological development, specifically halting our advancement in artificial intelligence and quantum computing. We would accept a predetermined role as a closely monitored species carefully guided by an external intelligence. Our evolution would be curated and controlled. We would undoubtedly survive, but we would definitively surrender our autonomy. We would become children in a cosmic daycare, safe but perpetually small and subordinate. The other pathway showed something drastically different. It depicted humanity taking a monumental leap not into deep space but into consciousness itself. A transformation so utterly profound that we would no longer be recognizable as a species sending out radio signals and launching rockets. We would become something that exists partially outside normal space-time, something that could interface directly with the quantum fabric of reality itself. This pathway was marked with the exact same symbol that appeared on those other civilizations, the ones that were not removed, but instead vanished by choice, ascending into forms of existence our current minds simply cannot process. But there was a terrifying warning embedded in this option, a precise probability calculation. The chance of successful transformation was calculated at 3%. The chance of catastrophic failure resulting in our immediate extinction and possible severe damage to local spatium was calculated at 97%. We would be gambling our entire species on a cosmic lottery ticket with odds that no rational civilization should ever accept. And yet, as I sit here in my study, looking out at a night sky that now feels heavy, laden with the weight of invisible watches and quantum boundaries and final judgments handed down by intelligences potentially older than our planet, I wonder if that seemingly impossible 3% chance is the only real meaningful option we have left. Because the alternative is to passively accept that humanity's story ends not with a bang or a whimper, but with a footnote in the galactic archives. A species that showed brief promise, developed too quickly, and was gently, decisively corrected out of existence for the greater good of the cosmic order. The team monitoring 3I Atlas reported something unsettling this morning. The object has begun actively resonating, emitting a specific frequency that exactly matches Earth's magnetic field as if it is carefully tuning itself to our planet, preparing for the next unknown phase of whatever complex process we have stumbled into. And people are noticing the effects. Reports are pouring in from across the globe. Unusual auroras at wrong latitudes, physical compasses malfunctioning inexplicably, animals behaving strangely, and strangest of all, thousands of ordinary people reporting identical dreams. Dreams of being shown complex images they can't quite recall upon waking, of voices speaking in geometric patterns, of feeling intensely observed by something vast, ancient, and utterly incomprehensible. If you have been experiencing anything similar to this, if you have felt the heavy weight of unknown attention pressing down on your consciousness like deep ocean pressure, you are absolutely not alone. You are not losing your mind. You are simply waking up to a profound reality that has been here all along, skillfully hidden behind our limited, self-imposed perception of what is truly possible in the universe. I have dedicated my life to trying to understand the universe through the rigorous lens of mathematics and physics through elegant equations that accurately describe how matter and energy dance through spatium. But there are crucial questions those equations simply cannot answer. Questions about meaning and universal purpose, and whether a species like ours, violent and beautiful, destructive and creative, capable of such profound love and such terrible cruelty, whether we truly deserve to continue existing, not in the simple moral sense, but in the practical, cosmic, ecological sense. Does our continued existence serve the universe, or does it ultimately threaten it? The visual transmission from 3I Atlas have now ceased, but the object continues its relentless approach. Whatever intelligence sent it is now waiting, watching, giving us a short amount of time to process, to choose to definitively demonstrate whether we are capable of the necessary evolution or whether we are simply another failed experiment in consciousness that needs to be quietly shut down before we dangerously spread beyond our current quarantine boundaries. Every civilization that eventually reaches for the stars eventually faces this singular definitive moment. The moment when they realize the universe is not an empty canvas passively waiting for them to paint their destiny across it. It is a carefully balanced complex ecosystem with established rules, powerful guardians, and inevitable consequences for those who disrupt the balance. We are facing that moment now. Humanity is facing its ultimate final exam, administered by teachers we never knew existed, graded on criteria we are only beginning to glimpse. So, I need you to think deeply about something. If you were those guardians, those ancient intelligences watching over galactic development, what would your final decision be with us? Would you see our incredible potential, our art, our music, our capacity for genuine growth and deep compassion? Or would you focus solely on our history, our endless wars, our selfish exploitation, our short-sighted destruction of the only planet we have ever known? Would you bet on humanity's better angels? Or would you pragmatically look at the statistical 97% probability and make the difficult logical decision to protect the galaxy from our dangerous adolescent aggression? Follow this channel as we continue the urgent process of decoding the universe's final warnings. As we track 3I Atlas on its inescapable approach, as we fully document humanity's last crucial chance to prove we deserve a sustainable place among the stars. Subscribe not merely because you desire entertainment, but because you absolutely need to know. You need to understand what is truly coming next. We all do. I'll be releasing more highly vetted information as it becomes available, as I am permitted to share it. But I want you to ask yourself tonight, when you look up at those stars, what would you sacrifice to ensure humanity's survival? Your complete freedom, your cherished individuality, your very definition of what it means to be human. These are no longer hypothetical questions to ponder. They are the stark, real choice facing our species in the difficult months ahead. The universe is watching. The final transmission was horrifying, not because of what it showed us about them, but because of the truth it violently revealed about ourselves. We are not the protagonists of this cosmic story. We might not even be supporting characters. We might tragically be the immediate obstacle that needs to be overcome, the systemic problem that needs to be solved, the ultimate threat that needs to be permanently contained.